Goedemorgen, welkom bij het webinar van Itenex en AGA. Mijn naam is Peter Kip, ook aanwezig zijn Valensas en Renata van AGA-CAD. Allereerst wil ik u vragen of ik goed te verstaan ben. Als u mij kunt horen, mag u op de knop Raise Your Hand klikken. Dan kan ik even verifiëren of iedereen mij ook verstaat. Goed, dat is een goed teken. Iedereen heeft handen omhoog staan. Dit webinar wordt gehouden in listen-only mode. U kunt dus niet zelf spreken, maar u kunt wel eventuele vragen stellen via uw scherm. En wij proberen uw vragen zoveel mogelijk tijdens het webinar te beantwoorden. Wanneer u na het webinar nog vragen heeft, dan kunt u contact nemen op www.itenex.com. Kunt u telefonisch doen via e-mail of u kunt eventueel contact nemen met AGA-CAD. Moet ik even klikken in mijn scherm? Ja. Itenex kan voor uw BIM multidisciplinair implementeren, zowel in het ontwerp, de realisatie en in het beheer van uw modellen. Itenex bestaat sinds 1996 en we hebben meer dan 6000 CAD-werkplekken in Nederland. Ooit zijn we begonnen met Autodesk AutoCAD als basis, maar tegenwoordig implementeren we BIM bij bedrijven door geheel Nederland. Wij kunnen u helpen met het verbeteren van uw processen op basis van onze materie- en productkennis. Daarnaast zijn wij een Authorized Autodesk Reseller en staan we in de top 20 Value-Added Resellers van Autodesk EMEA. En EMEA staat voor Europe, Middle East en Afrika. Naast de software van Autodesk hebben wij zelf Smart Revit. Het merendeel van u zal dit wellicht kennen. Smart Revit is een schil om Revit waarin wij uw processen willen versnellen. De tools die we vandaag gaan behandelen zijn geen onderdeel van Smart Revit, maar kunnen afzonderlijk worden aangeschaft en zijn uiteraard in combinatie met Smart Revit te gebruiken. AGA is een ontwikkelaar van Revit add-ons met meer dan 5000 licenties en meer dan 45 landen. AGA bestaat sinds 1991 en heeft meer dan 20 werknemers. Het doel van AGA is ervoor te zorgen dat u als gebruiker meer winst haalt uit uw workflow. Hiermee wordt ingezet op het versnellen van het proces en het wegnemen van verspillingen. Dan geef ik nu het woord aan Renata of aan Valensas. Dat heb ik niet geverifieerd, dat zal ik even voor u navragen. Renata or Valensas, you can switch to one of your screens to continue with the presentation.
Thank you, Peter. I'm going to show my screen. Okay, and I'm going to continue with the slide. Can you see my screen? Is it okay? Okay, very good. So here you can find the list of the products that we have released at the moment. There are many of them. We're dividing them into main parts. Here in the top you can find 4 MEP solutions. Then we have cut opening. That's very good for managing parameters and parameter values that comes from the project. Then we have cut opening. That's very powerful for making openings around ducts, pipes, cable traces and conduits that are created in your walls, floors, ceilings, beams and columns. Then we have 2 solutions in sustainable design group. Then we have 4 solutions in the smart browser. Here you can find solutions for managing your content and for working with your external libraries. Then we have tools for Revit add-ons. Here you can find different small solutions for documentation and for modeling. Then we have smart assemblies. That's very good for making shop drawings automatically. Then we have wood framing. Here you can find solutions for working with the wooden frames, for framing your walls, for framing your floor panels, at the same time for generating trusses automatically, or for creating the full roof system. And in a very similar scenario, we have metal framing. Again, here in this part we have 4 solutions: so Rafter plus, truss plus, wall plus and floor plus. And the wall plus, that's very good for it has intuitive automated framing functionalities for metal wall frame design and for making shop drawings automatically. Actually, at the moment we work on a new version of the Wall Plus, so in the near future we're going to release a new version, and today I will try a little bit to show you new features of the coming the new version that is coming soon. And Also, after making the frames, anytime you can make an export to CNC machines if it's necessary. At the moment, we did an export to Metrol, Havik, and Pinnacle machines, but also it can be done to any other machines if needed. Then the Floor Plus, it goes for metal floor framing automatically, and it generates floor metal framing members, including joints, buttons, bridgings, blockings, rims, noggings, and at the same time it goes for making shop drawings automatically. Then Rafter Plus, this application gives you opportunity to make easily steel elements on the roof according to your roof shape. So in general, you can create any roof shape, or it can come from architects, and you can very easily frame the roof according to your rules. Then the Truss Plus, it goes for making trusses, and again it goes for making shop drawings for the created trusses. Okay, so now I'm switching to my Revit project. You can find metal framing in the dock tab in the store. Here you can find, for example, the Floor Plus M or Rafter Plus M. So as you can see, in general, the Rafter goes for the wood, and if it has Rafter Plus M, so it means that it goes for the metal framing. So in general, you can very easily install and try the product. After installation, you can find the products in the separate tools for Revit metal framing tab. And here we're going to start with Wall Plus M. Now, the first thing that you have to know about this product is that it can support C+C and C+U systems. So in general, if we are going to, I will show you our sample project with different systems. So as you can see, this is an example of C+C chamfered system. As you can see, the tracks and the stats, they are created according to this. We have profiles, C profiles for the studs and C profiles for the tracks, and the ends are chamfered, as you can see it here. Then we can have one more system. It's like a regular C plus C. Again, there could be different connections used in making this frame, as in this case, this is totally different connection that we saw in the previous. Actually, the families of those connections you can modify, and you can create your own families. So we provide together with the products examples of the families, but in general you can use your own if it needed. Then we have C plus U special framing. Again, for the tracks we use U profile, and for the studs we use C profiling. Okay, and as you can see here, we can have such cripples above the opening. One more example is C plus U standard framing. Here we can take a look again. We have connections between those studs and tracks, and this is the system how it looks in C plus U standard framing. One more example is C plus U special frame. Okay, so it can look like this. Also, the tool can support different shapes of the frames. And one more example with adding connections for C plus U standard framing. Okay, so now let's start from the beginning, and let's start from the brand new project. I'm going to show you different scenarios. This is the wall. Actually, this wall comes from just regular from the architects. Let's take a look to the wall type. As you can see, there are 3 layers with a metal framing layer and the 2 gypsum wall layers from the both sides. Okay, so this wall type we're going to add the C++ profiling, and here it's in my case I have just one layer for the metal frames, and here we're going to use and we're going to add C++ profiling. What you have to do, you have just to select walls from the project and press frame wall. So after framing the wall, the tool will take parameters from the wall type. So the tool will look what kind of wall types you have at the moment, and what are the thicknesses and the layers, and then the tool will makes a connection between the wall type and configuration. From the wall plus. So in my case, I did a link before, and now the tool is just framing the wall segments. So in general, after preparing the sample configurations, the most popular configurations that are used in your projects, you can very easily save those configurations in your computer. I mean, you can later you can share that with your colleagues, and you will be able to use that setting in the new project. Okay, so there are 2 walls already framed. So in my case, I have selected 5 walls from the project. So now the tool frames the walls according to my predefined configurations, and it adds studs, plates, bracings, also it adds connections automatically, or service calls automatically to the wall. Okay, we're finishing with framing the walls. So in general, you just have to have the regular walls with your own types, and also one more condition is that every wall should have mark value. Mark value in the wall is very important because later we will use this in preparing shop drawings. Okay, so we're finishing with framing 5 walls, and they will be walls from different framing systems. And that's it. Here we can take a look into the sample with C+U. As you can see, for the tracks we use U profile and C for the studs. Okay, then we can take a look into one more example. Here we have C+C profiling. Now let's check how it works, and actually how we can improve and how we can change configurations for framing the walls. So framing configuration is the main button in the wall plus. Here you have to predefine your configurations, and first you have to start with configuration type. So it will be used for the main frames or for the secondary frames, because in the wall you can have 2 walls, 2 layers with or actually there are no limits. You can have even maybe 3 or 4 framed layers in the wall. So here you have to choose configuration type and then configuration name. So those configuration names, they come together automatically with the software. There are the most popular configurations so that we have created, but anytime you can save it with your own name and save it for your future projects. Now in the common settings, you have to predefine what families you're going to use for the plates and for the studs. Again, those families, they are our created sample families. They come together with the software after loading the families into the project. And but anytime you will be able to modify that if it's necessary. Now With the element mark definitions, the tool provides you a list of subcategories and the element namings for all framing members. So in general, you can add your own names, because this is very important, because descriptions and the member names they will be used later in the schedules. The same as framing member mark, because according to this mark, the tool will remember all your frames. Now, in the wall framing, you have just to choose the distances between the frames, how you want to distribute them. Then you have to predefine the top plates. There will be one top plate or two or maybe three top plates. Then there are settings for the bottom plates. Actually, it's very good to use Wall Plus, because after any changes you can see how it will look like in the end. So there are symbolic preview here in the right dialog. If it's necessary, you can add additional offsets from the wall, base or top. Then with opening framing, you have to predefine how your windows, doors or other openings will be framed. And here you can predefine settings for the windows, so what kind of king studs you're going to use, what kind of headers, what kind of header type you're going to choose, what will be the sill plates, trimmers, other studs or additional offsets around the window. Then there are settings for L connections. You can predefine settings for L outer corner or butt outer corner, and the same we have for the inner corners. So now you will be able to choose and to predefine configurations for different corners. So it could be predefined for the inner corner, but at the same time for the outer corner. Then we have a tab for end connections. Then we have a tab for T connections. Okay. Then we have Bushings and Lockings. As you can see in my example, additional bridgings were automatically added. So here you can predefine the rule where exactly you would like to add the bridging or knocking or additional blocking. And it can go through the wall segment, or it can go only through the openings if it's necessary. Then there are settings for adding bracings, additional studs, additional horizontal elements, and then there are settings for adding details. As you saw in my sample, so I have used different details in the project, different connections. So here you can say that, for example, there should be anchors added in the middle between the studs, or there should be connectors, angle connectors added on the open faces of the stud or plate. Okay, so here you can predefine different rules, how exactly you would like to distribute connectors, anchors, or some bolt holes, and so on. Then we have separate tab for adding the service holes for the virus, for example, and then for adding additional studs or holes, details or holes for the studs. So after predefining that configuration, you can save it under your own name, and then you would need to make a link between your wall type and configuration. So it's very easy. The tool shows you the wall types that comes from the project, and you have to choose what exactly you're going to put into every layer. So let's say into this layer I'm going to add the main frame and to use this C+U standard configuration, and then there are sheetings from both sides, and in the new version that is coming in the few weeks, there will be an option to predefine sheeting configuration, because in this case, in the new version, you will be able to split sheeting into separate parts. So in my case, I have already said that here I'm going to add sheeting, and then I'm going to split the sheeting into separate separate parts. Okay, and one more example, a link between this wall type and in this part of my building, I'm going to use some C+C template configuration. Okay, and just one more example, I'm going to frame this wall because I just want to show you an example that for different opening sizes or window sizes, you can predefine different headers and different framing configurations for different window sizes. As you can see in the left side, the window, the headers above the window, they are just straight. And here above this window, we're using varying configuration. So because this window is larger than this one. Okay, now what else we can do with such walls? So we can add any additional elements we need. If we take a look into add elements, we can add additional stats to the custom places in some special project places. Then we can add additional bridgings or blockings. Okay, you can very easily predefine the offset. Then we can add additionally bracings, but also if you make any changes in the project, let's say if I'm going to move a window, anytime you can select any frame from the wall and just press on update frame, and that tool very easily will update the frames according to any changes you do in the project. Now if you want to add additional bracings, so you can very easily add additional bracings between the horizontal elements. Okay, like this. You just need to click the points where exactly you want to add the bracings, and the tool will add the bracings between the horizontal points that you select from the project. Now, if you would like to make some changes in configuration, anytime you can go to modify frames, go to modify wall framing, where you can modify the opening framing. Okay, and now we can select and we can say that the top and bottom trimmers should be added for this opening. And after pressing OK, now the tool is going to update the opening framing only for this selected window. So in general, you can predefine the common configuration that will be used for all walls, but still anytime you can modify some custom openings or some special parts of your project. Okay, and the trimmers, they are automatically added. So now, as you can see in the new version, there will be more options with the modifying sheeting, because as you know, with the current version or just with this version, if we are going to switch on parts, the tool is creating the parts automatically. And if we take a look into the parts, this part is a sheeting. The tool adds information to the sheeting, so because the tool is making a part automatically and adding the information, but still if we take a look only into the sheeting, as you can see, the sheeting is not divided into the segments. It's just one sheeting, one part for the total wall segment. What we are doing at the moment, and in the new version we have added possibility to split the sheeting into separate segments. And first we have to go to the sheeting configuration, and there are settings how you would like to split the sheeting. So here you have to predefine the sizes for the vertical elements, then for the horizontally you can distribute and you can split it vertically and then horizontally. Then with the sheeting layout you will be able to predefine settings for different sheeting segments. So it can be inner sheeting or outer sheeting, and it could be secondary or the first. So in general, we have added an option to have even two sheetings, not just one sheeting from one or from another side, but also you will be able to have two sheeting segments from the outer side or from the inner side. And there are different options how you can work with them. So there will be, if you want, you can add some additional offsets. So here you have to predefine the rule for the direction of the sheeting. Then we have L connections. There are different options how the L connection should be created for the outers or for the inner corners. Then there are settings for the free end connections, again for the inner sheeting or for the outer sheeting, and the same with the T connection. Okay. And again, you will be able to save configuration under your own name. Then, after making this configuration, you will be able to split the sheeting into the parts. So I have to pick any frame from the wall, and that's it. The tool has created the sheeting in, and now if we take a look into the sheeting view, as you can see, we have here already splits in this part of our project. Okay, the same, let's split this part of the wall, and that's it. We have already split it. And now if you want, you can modify the sheeting. If you want, you can make adjustment a little bit, and you can predefine how exactly you would like to make an area from the left side, from the right side, or from the both sides. So in general, you will be able to modify that after splitting the part. Again, if we take a look into the plan view, we can see that in our plan view that here we have parts, and here we have splits between our frames. Okay. And after making those changes, after framing the walls, after splitting the sheeting, we can make shop drawings. In general, we have to prepare our own shop drawing configuration. You have to choose what kind of views you would like to have in your assembly, because the tool is going to create assemblies. The tool will collect all frames, connections, and the sheeting, so it will connect all elements from the wall, and the tool will prepare shop drawings automatically. You have to predefine the views, so you have to predefine what framing layers you're going to present in every view, and then the view template. So it's regular view templates that come from your project. You can predefine the graphical design of it. Then you have to choose the title block, the part lists, material takeoff, and the scheduler templates that come from your project. You can predefine your own schedules with your own design, and the tool will use those schedules as a templates for making your part lists or material takeoff for every wall. Then we have to choose dimension types just from the project that I'm going to use for the vertical, horizontal elements, and for the studs. And that's it. We can save this configuration, and I can create my first assembly. I have to pick any frame from the wall, and now the tool is going to create shop drawings. So the tool will collect all elements from the wall segment. It will collect all the frames, connections, it will collect the sheeting, and it will prepare shop drawings. So it will create a 3D view, front side view, one front view will go for the frame, one front view will go for the sheeting, and then it will create schedules. And the tool will add dimensions automatically on every frame and on every sheeting element face. Okay, I think we're finishing with making assembly for the first wall. And after creating the assembly, we can see that this is regular assembly, and the tool added automatically some additional information, like for example mass, so you will be able to know what is the weight of your prefabricated assembly. And that's it. We can take a look into the result. This is our 3D view. Then we have a front side view with dimensions. One more thing that we have to do, we have to remember our structural frames. We have to press on sort structural frames from the wall plus. The tool will remember elements according to its purpose and the length. Okay. So it will be visible in the front side view, and the same information will be visible in the sheet in the schedules. Okay, the same we're going to do with connections. Okay, and now let's check other views. So this is our plan view. Then we have front side view. Okay, with the sheeting layouts. Then we have material takeoff. Then the part list, okay, and then a separate table for the sheeting. And now we're ready to place this information to the regular sheet. So here I'm going to add regular front side view, then the view with the sheeting, then plan view, okay. And here I'm going to add the schedule with the sheeting, and then the schedule with the regular part list. Okay, so we have all information about every view and the wall. And now we can come back to our shop drawing configuration, and we're saying that this sheet will be used as a template for making our future sheets. Now I'm coming back again to my previous view, and again we can create assembly for other wall. So now the tool is going to make the same thing. So the tool is going to collect all views. The tool is going to the tool is going to collect all elements. The tool will prepare all necessary views. It will add dimensions, it will add tags, but at the same time the tool will place those views into the sheet automatically. So the tool will take the previous sheet as a template, and the tool will place the views into the same place as in our template sheet. Okay, and that's it. We can just open our final sheet, and here we can see the result. So you can just imagine how much time you can save in preparing such views and in preparing such framing. Okay, then the same scenario we have for the floors. If we take a look now into the floor framing, into the metal floor framing, we have the same scenario. You have to load the sample families into the project. Then you have the overview configuration, framing configuration. There are settings where you need to predefine the distances between the frames. Then there are options for the main frames and for the buttons. As you can see, it's very similar to the wall plus, just it goes for the floors. You have to predefine the distances, you have to predefine the families that you're going to use for the rims and for the common joints, then how you're going to frame the openings, so what will be the end connections, if you want to add additional bridgings or secondary bridgings, snoggings and blockings. So there are very similar settings, and then you have to make a link between your floor panel and your configuration. In my case, I'm going to put the main frame in the top and then buttons in the bottom of this floor segment. And that's it. We can just press on frame floor, and now the tool is going to frame on this floor, and then we're going to add buttons into the second layer. Okay, and we have the floor frames. As you can see in the connection, we have details, so there are L connections added automatically between the frames, and then let's add buttons. And that's it. The buttons, they are added automatically below this main floor segment. And the same as before, as the same scenario as it was with the Wall Plus, you can make shop drawings, and you can make assembly. The tool will add dimensions automatically, and the tool will put the views into the sheet. Okay, now let's switch to Valence's screen, and he's going to continue with framing your roof. So with adding trusses and with making rafters automatically.
Okay, hello to everyone. I hope you see my screen now.
Yes, we can see us.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So as Renata told you, I will show some solutions how to frame roofs with the light gauge seal elements by using our solutions. So I will demonstrate Rafter plus M and Truss plus M tools. So so let's get started. You see this project is a sample project where I will demonstrate Rafter tool. So I will just begin. I select the roof and okay, so this is the tool Rafter plus M, and again you have to load families to your projects first of all, and then you use all the possible commands to create your elements. So I have already loaded families, and I will just now create common Rafter systems on the roof. Here I have end connection selection options, I have beam type options, and I have spacing options and where to place it. So I will leave it like it is now, and I'll click OK, and we will have beam system on every slope of the roof with a predefined spacing. And you can see now that we have beam system on every slope of the roof with fixed distance between them. So let's just add other elements, and we will update later these rafters, these openings, and so on. So next thing, I will select all the beam systems of the roof, and I will insert hip valley rafters in the intersections of beam systems. So again, I select the end type, the type of the beam I will use, so I will use double elements, and I will click OK, and this is for the valley rafter. OK, and yeah, you can insert one valley hip rafter over here, one valley rafter over here if you select the beam systems near each other, but I just choose to select and insert all hip and valley rafters at once, so just to fill all the roof, to insert all the necessary elements. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so we have here a hip rafter inserted. I have valley rafters, and it's all over the roof in every necessary place. Yeah, let's go now to insert other elements. Like, okay, I will select two beam systems now on the slope and the slope, and I will insert ridge beam between them. So again, we have configuration window here. So we choose the vertical positioning option, we choose the type of the beam, we choose the distances, and so on. So after we click OK, we will have ridge beam inserted according to our configurations. So you can insert between two beam systems, or you can insert between two rafters. Let's say from here to here, you can insert the same ridge beam. Yeah, now we have ridge beam inserted, and we will just update later. Now let's insert some color beams. Like I will select two rafters this time, or I can select two beam systems, and I will select insert update color beam systems. You see here insert and update, so it's the same function for inserting and updating. Okay, so again we have configuration window, the vertical distance, the type of the beam, the connection type, and let's click OK. So we have here now color beams inserted. We can update. Let's say I will select the beam system and again Rafter, and I will prolong this, and I can change something more, like I can update this beam system and change the distance, let's say 900, and it will move down, and so you can update your elements at any time. Okay, let's go to other elements. We have a girder beam option, so let's insert a few of them. I will select two rafters, and I will select insert update girder beam. And we have again configuration window, the girder placement options, the type of the beam. I will enter 0 value here, and this is the red distance because we don't have possibility to insert girder here, so we will pick a wall and use it for the vertical distance of the girder. And yeah, I will click OK. I will put it in the middle of a wall, but I can also, of course, enter values to move it to the left or to the right. But anyway, now we have a girder beam. We can insert it like this by using wall type. So we can, if we have the same level of a girder, so we can select again two elements, select insert girder, and choose option pick source girder. So for this I will select this girder, and I have automatically vertical distances set up. And yes, I will click OK, and we have now girder inserted in the same level as the previous girder. So we can just go around all our building by using these different options, how to insert them. Okay, I will select the same option here, and I'll click OK, and we have some warnings to notify if it's everything is like we want it to be. Okay, so we can insert girders, go around all our building. We can insert them here, or we can insert them here, like a support girders, and so on. So just use configuration window. Okay, so let's change a bit structure of the roof. I will insert another layer for batten beams. The thickness will be 50 millimeters, and I'll just add material and click OK. So okay, I change configuration and I will insert batten beam systems. So now we have again the type of a batten beam, the spacing. So let's change that. Let's do it horizontal, and yeah, okay. Let's click OK. So we will have now batten beam systems perpendicular to rafters, or we can insert them parallel to rafters. So it's up to you. If you need some air ventilation, you can add parallel for the roofing, and it's perpendicular batten beam systems. Okay. So again, on every slope we have the chosen type of batten beam inserted on the top of the rafters and all over the roof. And now we see that our elements are going through the openings, and the connections are not as it should be. So we will update these beam systems. Like I will select this beam system, one beam system, and I will select update beam systems and check openings. So okay, yeah, and you will see that now our rafters are updated according to the all the constraints we have here, like the bridge beam, the valley rafters and openings. So we will have now some adjustments. Okay, so we have now here rafters updated according to the opening. We have rafters updated according to the valley rafters, according to the ridge beam, and so on. So you just need to select the beam system and click update with openings or without openings, and just wait until they will be fixed. Okay, so we have opening here now clear, and yeah, let's do the same on the other side. So we select the beam system and check openings and click OK. So just to have here good view as it should be. Okay, that's a big beam system, so we need to do a lot of cutting of elements. Okay, so we have now here both rafters updated, and we have openings updated, and if we will move openings, we can again update these rafters and check the design process. Okay, I select the beam system, and now let's frame the openings. So we have a separate command for this. Let's click OK, and we have here now framing elements inserted between these two rafters in here, and we see again that rafters are intersecting with framing elements. So let's select our beam system and update again, just to have, yes, now we are just going to the edge of framing elements. Yeah, so let's now see some other tools. Like if we have here on every slope we have beam system like this, so we have only one option of justification and layout with this one distance. But if we want to have separate possibilities, more flexibility to have different spacings in different areas. So we can do this with our command split beam system. So if I will just, let's try to use this on this beam system. Let's use split beam system here, and you will see that now we have configuration window with a defined spacing. We can set up the distances from the edge of the roof, and we have a distance of 1000 in the middle, so we can insert additional beam, and let's click OK and we'll see the result. So you will see now that we'll have now 3 beam systems which you can configure as you want. Like I have here beam system, I have beam system in the middle of one beam, and we have here a third beam system. So we can set up different spacing, so we can divide these beam systems again. And let's go to the plan view. Let's see. If I will, I will select this beam system, and I will select this Rafter, and I will click again split beam systems, and I will enter here GRATIS for splitting, and again I will insert additional Rafter. So let's see. Now we have a different distance of this Rafter, and this Rafter distance will be the same now from the edges of the roof. So if it's my wish, my design wish, so I can do it like this with the help of this tool, because in simple Revit you don't have these options to split beam systems, Okay, so we have here again now here beam system and the beam system here, so you can set up different spacings and so on, so align all the rafters and seek more flexibility in your design work. Okay, and the last maybe option I will show is to sort beams. Just when you click sort beams, we have the same as in wall framing solution. You had some sorting, so you have sorting also here. And if I will just maybe have, after sorting, I will add some tags, tag all, and I will filter this, and I will leave just structural beams, and I will now add some structural framing tags. Okay, and vertical and without leader, and click OK. And you can see now that we have different sorted markings for the rafters and for the batten beams and so on. So it's just a quick renumbering of the elements, so it saves your times also. Okay, so that's basically that's it what I wanted to show you today. We have some other options, but just the main commands I showed you, so I hope you get an idea. Okay, and let's just switch to other solution now. I'll close this one. Let's go and do something with trusses. Let's see how they work. Again, I have a sample project here, and okay, I'll just take another tool. Let's place this back, and let's use truss tool. So we have here a truss plus M tool. So we have configurations here for trusses. We have tools to create truss system grids for quickly create something like this, and we have tools to create separate trusses, to insert trusses, to create truss types by using model lines, and to copy, to modify trusses and so on. And we have last option here to create again sharp drawings, quick drawings, to mark elements and so on, to export to CNC machines. Okay, let's just overview some configurations. First of all, again, you just have to load truss types. When you open the truss database manager, here we can create trusses without going to each of the truss and assigning some elements and creating each of the truss types. You can create these types here. Just you create a type, you select the elements, the types of the elements for framing elements, and after you click create, you have all these types of trusses created with picked configurations, picked framing family types. So we have some samples over here already with different configurations, the same as it was in the wall framing solution. We have U and C profiles and C plus C and so on. So it's basically you already heard about this a bit. Okay, let's see truss system configuration window. Here you have options to create truss systems with what kind of truss systems you will have. So you'll have, if I will create, I can select the solution, if it will be gable end or hip end, or if we will use what kind of trusses we will use for this, and so on. So you create configurations for truss systems and you will use it. I will show you in action this one. And yeah, truss design settings, the last configuration window. Here we have some options how to create jack and corner girder trusses. So we have here, like, we can configure will be vertical webs and diagonal webs when they will be inserted, when according to the minimal length of them. So we can leave it as a default, or we can insert our values here. So this is these configurations, and we have here some ending types of trusses. We can select this one, and we select the default truss type for truss builder. So truss builder is a tool to create truss types inside the Revit, not by using Revit standard family editor. I will show you how it works later, and let's just get started and insert some trusses into this roof. So I have already created some of them here, but let's just see how it goes. So first of all, I select the roof and I select insert truss system grid. So you will see now I select the edges, the boundaries of my truss system, and okay, I'll click OK, and now we have you see that we have some suggestions from the tool. It suggests us to use this step down truss system, or we can choose another one if we want to use other profiles and so on, or we maybe we will not use this one. Okay, so let's just go back and choose this type of a truss system, and we have here already values from the roof width, pitch, and overhang, and so on. So yeah, okay, let's click OK, and let's see. So software will insert truss system grid. It's just a grid, not the trusses itself, but we create a grid and we can overlook and see if that's what I wanted to model. And yeah, let's just, if it's okay, then we just generate trusses, so we can modify truss system grid. We can change some truss spacing or insert another first girder to make them double and so on. So if it's okay, then we generate trusses, and we have configuration window where we can select the truss types, like we have here truss types which we can use, or like think or hove or modified queen or whatever, for common trusses, for hip end trusses, for jack trusses, and so on. So we pick the truss types and we click OK, and now we just need to wait until the software will insert the trusses in every place of your system grid. So this is one method how to create trusses. You create truss system grid and you generate trusses, or you can insert truss by truss in the places you need by using other very good commands like insert truss by model line or create truss type by model line. So I will show these steps also later, and you see that all the trusses are updated according to the roof. So here we go, just exactly the roof shape is, and you don't need to make a lot of sections and start and ends of framing offsets and create a lot of truss families, because the tool is designed so to help you with this. So it automatically adds some elements if they need to be there according to your configurations. And yeah, so there are a lot of different shapes of the roof, so that's why we have some tools which has the possibility to increase your work with some simple roof, but when you have unique conditions, then you can use other tools and create other trusses. So anyway, it saves a huge time. Okay. Every of the trusses different distances, different lengths, and so there's a lot of work to do here, but with the help of this tool you can just finish it much quicker. Okay, that's almost done. Okay, and we have now here trusses inserted according to configurations, and yeah, so it looks nice. But let's just get going and let's create another truss system here on the other side of the roof. Again, we create the select the edges of the roof. Okay, and let's click OK. And we have here a step down gable end truss. Okay, I will leave default configurations. Okay, we have a truss system here, and we generate trusses again here. We just need to overlook if we have the right types of trusses, if it's what we want. Yep. Now we will create other trusses, and we will copy some trusses, and we will auto copy some trusses. you see here model lines, some drawing I draw already, but I'll show you how to use them. So okay, I have a truss. I will select another command to copy array trusses. Let's just use 6 of them and update from the roof. And yeah, so we'll insert here few trusses as the same as on the other side. Okay, so you can see that this truss was updated according to the roof because we don't have such an overhang in this place. Let's do the same with this truss. Again, auto copy and okay, 4 trusses and update from the roof and to the left. You know, I know already the distances, so but anyway, you know the distances in your project, so just fix that according to your situation. Okay, and this one was updated according to the roof. And now I would like to insert truss between this and this truss, or I can auto copy another truss. I will copy it by 6, 7, 6 and update. So let's just have double trusses over here. Okay, and now I would like to insert truss between this one and this one. So for this I will go to the level 2 to the top of the walls, and I will draw the model line here. Okay, from the center to the center of the trusses. And yeah, so let's go back to 3D view, and I will select this model line, and I will select insert truss by model line command. So for this you will just need to select the truss type. I select the truss type and I'll click OK, and now we will have truss inserted in the place of this model line, but also updated according to the roof. Okay, you can see now that we have here truss. It's aligned to the supporting truss, and okay, let's see if we have. Okay, this model line should be also stretched to this situation. Let's go and let's use this one. Okay, let's go and insert another truss here by using the same command, insert truss by model line. Okay, let's pick the truss type with a double pitch for the double pitched roofs on each side. And okay, so we have here now one truss and other truss. So I select one and second trusses, and I will use now command auto copy two trusses. So we have configuration window to make a spacing, and if the spacing will be less than 600, the less spacing will be left in the middle, and we choose option update from the roof and click OK. So what we did now, we select two trusses and we insert trusses between these trusses automatically. The same type of the trusses, but the same spacing which we define here, but now trusses are updated to the roof, so we don't need to do it manually, inserting one by one. Just can insert these trusses and just watch how it goes. So you can see now the truss is inserted and then updated according to the roof. So you don't need to work hard for this. Yes, and you can see now that we have here all these trusses inserted, and they are adapted according to the roof shape. Okay, let's just finish with this roof. Insert another truss in the middle. Let's pick again. I'll just pick the same type of a truss. And yeah, so I want to connect to have this monopitch truss now here. So I have a model line again from the truss to the wall, and I'll select the same command again, and but now we will use monopitch truss. Okay, and let's click OK. So all these truss types are loaded by default into your project, and you can just create new types by using other tools and by picking the right sections of the framing. And yeah, we have a monopitch here now, and we can just select other command now, like whatever the number is, and click OK, and we will have some, you can fill the gap with the trusses. Okay, so these are basically main commands for your work to create the trusses for your roofs. But when you have non-standard situations, like let's close this one, let's go to this project. You see that we have different shapes of the roof, and we can't use the same commands for these roofs. So we have tool to complete such situation. So again, we have a model line here, and we have a different shape roof here. So so I will select the model line, and I'll use now command to create truss type from model lines, and I'll select the roof. And now you see that the roof defines the top chart of the truss, and the model line defines the bottom chart of the truss. So I just need to draw the webs of the truss. You can see here we have snap horns, and I will click OK. We have here window for the saving of this kind of truss type. So yes, now we need to wait, and just we will see that we have this complex shape of a truss inserted. Okay. Yes, and now we have this truss inserted according to the roof with the predefined elements, and just with few clicks. It's much easier than do it in Revit truss editor, and you have here already the truss type created. And of course you can do another trick, like if we have a model line like this, it's not straight line, you can select all of this and create truss type from model line, and then again select the roof, and you can see that bottom chart is not as it is. It's the same shape as the model line. So you can just add some webs as you think it will work the best for you, and just click OK. And okay, let's create new truss type, and let's see. And now you have again complex shape of truss inserted. Yeah. So in these commands, basically, you can solve any configuration, any shape, any complexity of your roofs. Okay. Few more seconds, and we will have our truss. Okay. Yeah, and now you have a family type with different name, with these profiles, which is selected in configurations. Okay, so maybe that's what I want to show you with inserting elements. But when you work with trusses, you have also the same possibility as with wall framing. You can also make shop drawings, sort trusses, sort by ID, and tag them and so on. So it's basically the same procedure as in wall framing solution. Okay, maybe Renata will continue from here.
Yes, thank you, Valentis. And Peter is going to finish the session. Just he has some questions for you. We have some polls. We have 3 polls.
Yes, thank you, Valentis and Renata. Thank you very much. Are there any questions? Because there is not much questions been in this session. So if you have any questions, please ask them in your menu to question them. If there are more specific in your project, for example, then you can also you can contact us and you can give us an email or a phone call.